Hi, and thank you for joining us today. It's a pleasure to have you, and thank you to everyone for joining us. I'll start with a really easy one. Can you briefly share who you are, what your company does, and your role in the organization?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you very much for the invitation. It's a pleasure to get to speak to folks at LinkedIn. So my name's Arben Marina. I'm Vice President of Revenue Operations for the global team at Cision. I've been working in finance, operational, commercial roles, business leadership roles for about 25 years, primarily in information services, professional services driven industries.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. So as a business leader, what are you doing personally to be future ready?
It's really made up of like three big blocks, I would say. One is continuous learning. Two is essentially, I'm also trying our best to partner with our partners, our vendors, like LinkedIn, and lastly, I would say it's more about what we do with our teams internally. I actually about a year ago decided to start a program on business intelligence at Villanova University, and I'm like 3/4 of the way in the program. And why did I do this is because I noticed that it was very difficult to persuade our executive leadership on why we need to invest in something called BI or business intelligence.
Yep.
But to be honest, it's foundational to anything we want to do, whether it comes to analytics, data science, artificial intelligence, AI, et cetera. We have to get our platform ready. And to make that like sizable investment, I decided to take on a course that like focused on BI, but also how it impacts business strategy. So that's been very helpful for me in our organization to persuade folks to make the investment. When it comes to our partners, look, some of our partners are innovating ahead of us, and some of them need to listen to us because they need to understand our needs. Mm-hmm. So like the marketplace is changing significantly. So if I don't stay close to our partners, there's no way that we're going to be able to get future ready. The last thing is our team, as I mentioned, and it's really a very simple thing, is we have to try things out, fail fast, and be curious and try again. And that's very difficult to do in an organization, particularly in a corporate enterprise, because failure is a bad word.
It is.
Even though many organizations are top down, try to get and motivate, frankly, the most junior person on the staff, to innovate and allow them the room for failure and create that culture where it's okay, And I think those are the types of things that we're doing to try to get future ready.
Yep. I think those are great things. It's about BI, it's about innovation, and it's about the partners. Yeah. I think those are really, really great ideas.
Yeah.
So to position your company as future ready, how do you balance the investment in business as usual with your future focused projects that you just talked about, the innovation piece?
It's easier said than done for sure. I mean, like any organization, what does Cision want to do? We want to delight customers. We want to retain customers, right? We want to drive growth from those existing customers, and we want to optimize our new business engine. And that takes up a lot of time.
It really does.
Just like supporting the business as usual is a huge investment, of my team and also our commercial stakeholders, right? And our job in revenue ops is to bring those commercial stakeholders together. That's our raison d'etre. We are here to actually bring those stakeholders together to try to improve the commercial processes to achieve our commercial objectives, right? So what can we do as an organization? One is when we set objectives, we got to do our best to try to parse some time out for innovation, So we obviously have our core priorities. I talked about failing fast and early, so we have to carve out some time to do that. We have to create a culture, within our organization where people are inspired to want to try and do things, right? And the second thing is we got to be patient, This is like planting a tree, getting this stuff done. And I think, unfortunately, sometimes, and I'm not complaining, it's just the reality is the C-level think that they can say and it's done. Send out the memo and it's done. Well, when it comes to driving this type of innovation, the technology is abundant, absolutely, okay? But if you don't have your platforms ready, whether that's your data, your processes, and frankly, people need to be able to kind of absorb this new change, right? And you got to enable them to be able to do that, because the seed that we're planting right now, it may take a while. It could be time horizon a year, it could be 3 years or more. We have to be patient, and it's frustrating, especially in an enterprise that wants to move rapidly. We have like a startup mentality at Cision. So we are going to fail, and it's going to take a while to get it done, but you have to keep on working towards it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And again, going back to the point of the data foundations, the data that you use and the quality and the accuracy of that data is so fundamental to the decisions that you make using that data. When we think about the media technology industry, what challenges is it facing now, and how are you thinking about using AI and then more specifically Sales Navigator to solve those challenges?
Within our own organization, AI features in our product roadmap, like the Cision product roadmap, but AI or these capabilities as a whole, including predictive analytics, it's not about sustaining competitive advantage anymore. We must do this, or because our competitors are doing this.
Yep.
So it's a requirement to be here and play here, right? So what are the things that we can do, with this technology? One is we can shorten our sales cycles. We can try to provide more time for our sellers to sell, right? And we could be more consistent in how we get our messages out through, to our customers, right? So when it comes to seller time, as an example, look, this technology helps us to remove context switching between applications, right? Especially when you fuse the data and workflow together, right? It helps reduce seller keystrokes, right? So try to reduce that, like hands-on keyboard, save time, right? And also, with generative AI, we have the ability to have compelling messages out.
Yes.
When we're sending out leads or engaging, frankly, with our existing customers, So that saves time seller. When it comes to targeted prospecting, I know we'll talk more about LinkedIn, but that's really key to what we're doing, and that's going to reduce our sales cycle.
Yep.
And so by reducing the time spent in a sales cycle, we can have a competitive advantage there against our competitors, right? Because by improving our ability to communicate more effectively using this technology, we can reduce our sales cycle time. I guess the last thing on globalization, maybe it's worth noting, is look, thanks to LinkedIn, 1 billion users globally, we can actually get a consistent message out there to mitigate our competitive messages. And we can get it out there repetitively, and also we can get out there with high quality, so consistent. So these are the ways that we're trying to, be future ready, think about using AI to address some of the challenges that we have in our industry.
Yep. So how has your Sales Navigator experience helped you evolve your approach to growth and revenue operations?
Look, as I mentioned, and again, this is not a LinkedIn commercial, I'm not a LinkedIn marketer, but the platform brings our sellers some level of integrity,
It does.
Because it is a global platform and it is used by 1 billion users, on or off, right? And so therefore, integrity is a key ingredient to establishing trust. So, it is a door opener in that sense, right? And it is an imperative toolkit for B2B selling, because why? It's very simple. We got to be able to figure out how to use data to be better at prospecting and account relationship management, and that's kind of what LinkedIn enables for us, right? So there are definitely a number of use cases internally. Love Account IQ, okay? The second area is targeted prospecting, which we talked a little bit about. The third is account relationship development. And the fourth is just very basic in its platform, account, contact management, and sales intelligence, right? So just to walk through them briefly, when it comes to Account IQ, I've been in some commercial op roles for at least 15 to 20 years now, right? I need an account plan.
Give me the account plan.
Give me the account plan, And it's like, oh yeah, we'll just whip it up, Look, you got it. Go into LinkedIn, and on the fly, it's pretty good. It tells you who some of the key contacts are, some of the folks you may or may not know within the organization, pumps information about the customer's activities. Basically, it's designed as your traditional account plan would be, So that is an enabling capability, right? And we have to do a bit more to get our reps, to use it and so forth, but specifically for our AMs or strategic AMs, really enabling capability, right? When it comes to prospecting, there's many capabilities. You can filter, your noise out, right? And focus on potentially the people that you want to speak through the filtering capabilities. You can get insights, about these individuals, like lead suggestions and recommendations, right? And these things can help you to be more focused and targeted about who you should be speaking to, what you should be speaking to them about, right? So when it comes to account management, and relationship development and penetration of those accounts, InMail is still really critical, right? It allows you to get through the barrier of the gatekeepers, so you can actually speak and directly target the individuals that you want to speak to. It's been around for a while, but it's still a successful instrument, especially when you start to leverage that with account engagement technology or sales engagement technology. That's a marketplace, and you kind of fuse it. That's when you're really helping the seller out to drive more efficiencies and productivity. And I'm not just saying about getting noise out there, but like personalized messages, because LinkedIn is informing you in that way. Additionally, there's a lot of information about these individuals, so you kind of get those recommendations, those additional insights and analytics, right? When it comes to account management, contact management, there's account mapping. You're getting real-time updates, about what's going on about this individual, the company. So therefore, when you're engaging with them, you can actually have a conversation. And to be honest, I know it sounds stupid, but somebody saw that I'm a big Philadelphia Union fan, and they've been using that. And there's a few times I actually want to engage with this individual. It's not just even like just the big company news. It's the things about you.
The personal connections.
The personal connections. And all of a sudden I'm talking to this guy about soccer, But you know what? I might meet him. I might actually have a conversation with him. And the last thing, and I know this has kind of somehow been ignored the last couple of years when it comes to LinkedIn, and I'm not saying by the account team, but by certain folks, is the integration with the CRM. Because at the end of the day, we do want our sellers to use these tools, but we need to bring this data into the CRM because we need to understand how effective this outbound and inbound activity is. And our CRM is critical to that. And I know LinkedIn does a really good job about this in giving us insights about the impact we're actually having on the bottom line or top line.
Yep. And then last question.
Yeah.
What do you think is the most important skill salespeople should be developing to excel in their roles in the months ahead?
Well, if I could be greedy and just lay out two.
Go for it.
So the first one is understanding buyer motivations.
Yep.
Okay. And the second is, we've talked about it for the last 15 minutes or so. It's about really becoming proficient in sales technology. Okay. So understanding buyer motivations, pretty simple. We're in a difficult selling environment, not just in our industry, but in numerous industries. We truly need to listen to our customers and understand their needs instead of just putting our solutions and products out there at the start of the conversation. And the sales technology is pretty funny because, we talk about it, for the last 10 minutes or so, but the thing that's interesting about it is I think the pendulum has shifted. Before you had groups like sales ops or rev ops or commercial ops or finance or whoever, marketing, who were trying to get the seller to use these tools. You got to do this, it's an imperative, it's part of your job. You're not going to get commissions if you don't do this, et cetera, et cetera. But that's not the reality anymore. The reality is you can't be a great seller if you don't understand this technology, because it is going to help you to be more data-driven, more focused. You don't have that much time. As you said, the recent study you folks did, only 25% of the time is selling. Well, I better figure out how to optimize the rest of my time. So I got to understand this tech. So essentially, we find that we have particularly certain sales managers, individual contributors and so forth, that are starting to bring us to the well and push us, the teams that I lead and support, to use this technology more effectively, because they can't get their job done and be effective and frankly meet quota.
Yep. Well, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate your time. I will now go become a Philadelphia Union fan. Clearly, that's very important. Thank you to all of you for tuning in. And this is a wrap. Thank you.